And just like that, yet another week has dawned upon us. Good to see you all. Just noticed my lights aren't working in the background. Again, so annoying. Every time I think I've got it all set up and I've hit all the buttons that's supposed to be hit, because you guys have no idea the whole freaking stupid process that I go through in here. There we go. To make all this work. And maybe the camera will start to focus correctly. Good to see everybody. Welcome back to Crypto After Dark. Carolina Keith, Professor Keith, Regular Keith. Glad you're all here. It's been an awesome week, hasn't it? It's been up and down a little bit crazy, a little bit scary. I've been here through all of it, hanging out with all of you guys, and I hope you're ready. We got some cool stuff to go over tonight. If you've got a particular asset, a particular coin that you want to get looked at, well, do us a solid. Jump on over there to the chat, just on the right side of the screen right there. If you're on YouTube, you'll pop up right here on your side of your, it'll be right down below here. Right here is where you guys are popping up when you type. I'll try to catch everything you say. We'll try to go over every bit of it. I'll write her down on the handy dandy notepad right here, okay? And we'll try to get it all gone. I'm going to go over some stuff tonight that we think we found that's pretty darn cool. I got a new thing I want to kind of show everybody that I'm not fully tweaked in on just yet. However, I think it's important. We've been doing some playing around with it in the background, and I'm not totally sold on it yet. That's why I haven't made a video about it, but I want to kind of introduce it tonight. Obviously, no beard no more. Distinguished now, right? I shaved. I don't want to be involved with the beard gang anymore for a little bit. I'm going to try to do something different, yeah? I'm already going bald, so what does it matter when you're losing your hair? You shave it all off. Who cares? Anyway, let's go say hey to everybody, and we'll crack into some of these charts. You guys know how we do it here. All charts, all the time. We do bullshit a little bit, but it's not about assets. It's not about investing. The only time we bullshit is about random dumb stuff. Let's go say hey to everybody. Good to see you, Big Tex, first on the list. Been a hell of a fun day getting paid by the frog. Time to chill with the crew and learn some shit, bro. Let's do it. I got a monster ready. I didn't have a chance to grab any tranny beers before this, so I'm just going to have to drink whiskey. Going to be a long night. Eric Denham Logic, good to see you, brother. Lunatic Prophet, Kelly Slade, what's up in the Costa Rica? Good to see you. Educated Dummy, what's up, John? John Doe, what's up? Jeremy Monroe's not even drunk yet. Listen, it's Jeremy Monroe's fault that I broke open 2 new whiskey bottles the other night. I'm blaming him for all of that. All right. The Chamda, good to see you, brother. Yes, you have your own link for Discord. Yes, if someone clicks on it, you get credit for it. Educated Dummy again. Merc, what's up, Merc? Good to see you, bro. Brandful. Cuzzo, what's up? Good to see you. Holy crap. Did the bot tag me and Keith still cat? Bro, that's me tagging you, but I have to tag everyone at once because I can't type upside down on my phone. I don't know how to do that. Whatever letter I have to type to get you to pull up, I have no idea what letter that is. I'm an idiot. JH, what's up? When freaking mullet. One of my favorite people, everybody. Win Mullet in the chat right down below here. Everybody go say hey to Win Mullet. Super good dude. Got a chance to meet him in the summer. It was the summer, wasn't it? Shit, I don't remember. Maybe it was winter. Whatever. It's good to see you. Good to hang out with you and the daughter. I hope she's doing well. I hope you're doing well. Love to talk to you some more. I know I lose touch. I got a shit ton of people to talk to, and I'm sorry. I'm not very good at maintaining people. But it's good to see you nonetheless. Love having Mullet on here. He's one of my favorite people. Mark Speed, good to see you. Crypto Norsky, what's good? Good to see you. Brian McDonald, what's up? Blame it on the brain, exactly. Dreamer, Gaffer, Crypto Kitty, Jared Sosa, what's up? So, let's jump all the way off into this. So, I'll preface this by saying I was fully prepared for what happened yesterday as far as the Fed meeting to happen. We'd already planned for this, okay? We'd already planned for the government kicking the can down the road. This is kind of what they do every single time. They're never proactive, all right? There's a big difference in between what we do and what most people do. I would say a vast majority of people who invest are doing it reactively. Okay, they find some news article or they do some deep dive research or whatever, and they're reactively thinking about how they can make money based on what they can find. All right. What we do as TA guys, as chart guys, is we're proactive. We're looking ahead to make a move before everyone else is. Okay. We're trying to find the right spot to make the move before you find that news article. All right. More often than not, we've found that the news articles are simply just reporting what we've got on the chart. If they have nothing to report, they won't say anything. In fact, the news will make stuff up. In case you haven't noticed, watch the news for a little bit. They just make random shit up sometimes to fill gaps because they don't know what to report. All right. We try to be proactive. We already knew the Fed would be reactive. They were reactive in 2020. All right. Reactive. They were then reactive again in 2021 at the end, toward the beginning of 2022, when they decided quantitative tightening was a good idea after they'd already let inflation skyrocket. Then inflation skyrockets and they decide, oh yeah, we're going to raise rates up, but we're going to jack them up so fast to make up for the massive gap that we made. Whoops, screwed that up, didn't we? Now you've put so much pressure on those banks that require you to go slow. Hold on a second. Sorry, I'm getting text. You've put so much pressure on those banks that require you to go slow that they're getting squeezed and pinched monetarily wise, and they're starting to crack and fail. So now what do you do as the Fed? Do you go changing something radically? Or do you pull back on the throttle a little bit? Or do you just kick the can down the road? When you don't know what to do, you sit on your hands. Right? That's a common thing for most people to do. When you don't know what to do, you do nothing. Right? Expecting nothing less from the government. So they did nothing. They kept things the same. He doesn't know what to do, and you can kind of tell. All right. Reactive, reactionary thinking isn't going to get it. Okay. We're ahead of that. So since they kicked the can down the road and continued to do what they're already doing, guess what we did? We continued looking for what was already happening, which is an overall uptrend. And that's on the charts right here. So I've got the lines kind of color coded now. Okay. I had a person message me and say, hey man, it throws me off when you draw on the charts because I don't understand what you're drawing sometimes because all these colors are different. Okay, I get it. And I'm sorry about that. So what I've done is I've kind of color coded it a little better so it'd be a little easier to see. By the way, if you guys haven't done so yet, please do me a solid. It would be really dope. Go click like. Right here is the link. Go click like. Click the little bell to notify yourself and click subscribe so you don't miss anything we do. All right. The more likes we get, the more YouTube pushes us out there for everyone to see. The more people we can help reach and help make money with. All right. We want to get everyone in here that we possibly can. All right. We only do these once a week now. Right. We don't do them twice a week. We won't start that back up to maybe the bull market. And then I'm not even sure about that. Once a week is way easier on me. It's hard to constantly be in here doing videos like that when I got all you guys to talk to, when I got consults to do. It's a lot. It's a lot. So green will be uptrend lines and red will be downtrend lines and resistance. All right. So that's what I've got drawn out here now. So we broke that big red bear market line. Let me write down my timestamps. I apologize. So that's 9:35. That's BTC. So big downtrend line in red there. That's the overall bear market that we've been fighting through for a while now. We've cracked that. Since we cracked that, we came back and retested that. If I leave out just this little retest, which on a weekly chart would be a wick, and I'll show you that real quick. If you look here on this weekly chart, it's just a wick. Yeah, you got no candle body closed under there. Everything else lines up except that wick. So I'm going to leave that piece out just for the example, okay? So I've got this uptrend. We were wondering, well, what's the Fed going to do? What if they do this? Wasn't worth wondering about. Wasn't worth worrying about. This thing sat right on the trend line and just waited. It was already in an uptrend. As you see that green line already trending up in an upward direction. I'm to expect more as long as it's above that trend line. What would have changed my mind? All right. I've got multiple questions about this. What would have changed my mind? Had this been under here before that news came out, I would have thought something differently. Honestly, may have. I would have thought they were doing something dramatic. Not what happened at all, is it? Not what happened at all. As a matter of fact, they did nothing. And since they did nothing, we can capitalize on that. All right. We already knew it was over trend. We already knew it was over all kind of different support lines. It is pinned under a resistance line. And what resistance line is that? Well, that's this red line right here at roughly about 30 to 31,000. It doesn't seem to want to give that up too easy. All right. If we add in some more stuff, I have multiple questions about indicators a lot. All right. I'll say this. I don't keep them up here on purpose. All right. I only put them up there for a moment and then take them away. Why? Because it starts to convolute things and kind of confuse me. And I don't want to get confused. I kind of want to get the right answer here. So I'm just using these indicators in unison with what I already find with the trend. The price action is currently up and sideways. So unless I find something that absolutely knocks that out of the water, I'm going to continue thinking up and sideways. All right. And I need to see sentiment change before I'm going to make some kind of harsh decision. All right. So what's in the way? I'll pull up a couple indicators so you can see here. I'll pull up the pivots first. Now, yesterday, this thing stopped dead under the pivot line. You see that right there, that red candle. Let me zoom in where you can see nice and well. This thing stopped dead under the pivot. What are pivot points? All right. Pivot points are predetermined support and resistance lines based on price action and Fibonacci sequence with what bot trading does. All right. So you can kind of see predetermined stop and go points along the way. The main pivot line is the one with the letter P beside it right here. All right. This is your bullish, bearish filter. Very simple. All right. You want to be over this P line right here, the line that says 29,172 in this instance. We want to be above that. All right. It just so happens we have an intersecting of trend lines at the pivot line. Like this is an important point right here. Okay. I kind of get this vibe since we've recently jumped over that pivot line. As you see here, we haven't closed over it yet. So I don't want everyone to get ahead of themselves. This is only just jumped over a little. It hasn't closed yet. It very well could close under it. I get this vibe that we're going to get a price action that looks something like I'm about to draw. Something that kind of bounces around here, maybe jumps over, dances around right about here to the point where these two trend lines come together, and then we move off. I think something like that will happen. Honestly, next month is going to be the big kicker. All right. Why? Well, we already know that this whole cycle kind of runs till June, July area. And what am I talking about? Well, I'll kind of show you what I mean by the cycle now. I'm going to write down cycle. So I got that right. So I'll pull up a cyclical Bitcoin chart here so you can see it. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right. Jump off of here. I don't have the right one pulled up. Let me grab a different exchange. This one here. We're aware of the cycles that Bitcoin makes. And what do I mean by cycles? Every 4 years-ish, Bitcoin goes through a halving cycle. It reduces rewards and increases demand. This is supply and demand 101. I've got lines drawn here that show different points throughout the history of Bitcoin. We know that they're roughly 4-year cycles, and I have these cycles drawn out for you with different waypoints along the way. Halving, halfway done with the bull run complete, right? And then I've got these other lines like 100 days between halfway from the bull peak to the next halving. That midway line is in red. About 100 days before, you usually get a capitulation. That's usually the last capitulation. And you see that's exactly what happened back here. Fast forward to where we are now. Bull run peak. Here's the next halving. Here's about halfway. About 100 days before, you get your last capitulation. I kind of expected this to go a little farther. It didn't. So be it. Now, since then, we have broken trend, danced on top of the trend right around the midway line. Okay. Now we've started to move off forward toward our post-midway peak, which is exactly the same thing that happened back here in July of 19, which is the exact same thing that happened back here in July 15. It's a repeating pattern that happens over and over and over again. It's not perfect. There are dissimilarities and there are similarities. We're within a couple weeks on being pretty darn accurate about where this thing's going to start and stop. I know that the next halving is April 24th. right? I'm sorry, April 15th or so, 2024. That'll change by a couple days back and forth as the hash rate goes up and down. But that's a pretty darn close guesstimate, all right? We know that usually post-halvening, there's about 1.5 years of a bull cycle. If I know that, I know my bull cycle ends roughly in 2025, roughly toward the end of 2025, I can kind of predict what's coming based on the trend. I know we're probably going to top out in the summer here, and we're probably going to go down or sideways for a bit until we get toward halvening. Usually in the fall of the year before halvening, you have your bottom. Now, last halvening was a bit of an anomaly. Right before we got to our halvening line, we had this big fall off. And what happened? Well, essentially, a lot of people want to blame this on COVID, and maybe that exacerbated the problem, but we were already going to have a pullback here. Now, I think this was likely to stop at around 6,500 or so. But with what you got with this capitulation here, it went a little farther than that. It ended up doing a 1618 instead of just a 618 like I thought it would. All right. And that evidence goes back toward the last time this happened. You know, you got a big fall, but it wasn't as dramatic. It wasn't as dramatic, especially right before halving. You see that right here in the months before halving, you had just normal retraces all through here, and this thing just kind of drove sideways and up the whole time. This cycle had a blow off top. Our last cycle did not have a blow off top. We had a nominal, normal 1618 retrace upward. I'm hopeful that the next cycle has a higher retrace than that, up to a blow off top. That would be wonderful. Is that going to happen? I have no clue. Why in the world would I guess that? However, I can tell that we're likely to move up through our bull market to at least one of our take profit lines, which are Fibonacci lines of 1272, 1414, and 1618. We find a lot of consistency with those three take profit levels. Now I'm going to show you this new tool I've used. You see these lines I've got marked out, right? And you can kind of remember where they're at here. Now I'm going to jump over to the Bitstamp chart, and I'm going to show you the same thing. Only I'm not going to use these colored lines that I've drawn here. I'm going to draw this without those colored lines using Fibonacci time zones. All right. This is something different we've been tinkering around with to try to figure out. Okay. Excuse me. So first, I want to look back here at the previous bull run. I'm going to go to weekly here so it'll be a little easier to see. I want to look at our previous bull run, and I'm going to pull from the peak to the bottom. All right. And I want you to see what happens here. I'll grab Fibonacci time zones. I'm using standard Fibonacci retracement numbers in this, the same numbers that we use on our Fibonacci retracement. I'm going to be using on Fib time zones here. Okay. So I'm going to grab the peak, and I'm going to pull this down just like it's a trend line. And we see here, right about here, to where our trend line would be cutting down to our bottom. That's why I pulled it to where I pulled it. That goes down to the bottom, just like Fibonacci retracement. We see that roughly around the 1 line, we get our peak, which is roughly June. And then we see our 3 red lines right here, which is where our trend shifts. We see we ran down, back up, and came right around to our 3 red lines here, which just so happened to be the perfect place to buy. All right, right between 1414 and 1618. If I go back here and look at this run, the exact same thing, only a little bit less dramatic happened. All right, I'll pull this Fib time zone. Same way here. Pull it down right about there where I broke trend and tested. Roughly 1414, 1618. That was your last chance before the thing really blew off the top. In fact, this one was much smoother and sweeping broadly. Very nice. If you notice, this goes to the 2 line. All right, to the 2 line. All right. I'm going to back off of this, erase this one, and I'll pull up the one I just had on here and show you again. Do the same thing for this one, from the peak to the bottom. Right around the 2 line was pretty much our high point. If I drag this out more to our back test where we had this 1618, look how high this thing goes. Right between 1414 and 1618 was right about the time we needed to stop. Now, why did I pull it to here? Well, that's the halving line. All right. Right about here was where we had our halving in the bull market. If I pull this from the peak to the halving, right about here is where everything stopped. This works the same way on the previous halving cycles. I've already checked it. So I know our next halving date. Remember that? April 2024. I'm going to do the same thing here, okay? I'm going to grab this top. I'm going to pull this down all the way over here to our halving. I'm going to grab the bottom right in there, okay? This shows me that October, November between 1414 and 1618 is roughly going to be our peak. I know that if I pull regular Fibonacci retracement, this is going to look wicked, okay? I'm sorry, but I just need you to bear with me. I pull our regular Fibonacci retracement all the way over here to October because that's probably where we stop. And I'll connect the top to the end with the bottom, right? All triangulated nice and well. 1618 and the end of the fib time zones end right off together right here in November 2025 at about 175,000. Listen, I know that sounds ridiculous, but mathematics can't be ignored here, okay? It looks to me like about 175,000 is the peak for the next bull run if we don't get a blow off top. There's evidence to suggest it goes higher if we get a blow off top, which would probably be around 225,000. But I don't want to say that. That's hopium right now. I think we're more realistic looking at least 100,000, but between 100 and 175,000 at this point. We'll be able to fine tune this more as we go. Okay. The more data I get, the better answer I can give you. This is just what I see for now. Okay. I want you to take it with a grain of salt. It's a future projection. I don't like doing this kind of stuff, but at the same time, I can't ignore the data, and I want you guys to see everything we've got, okay? I think it's important. I haven't made a video about this before because I wanted you to see it here first so you can understand kind of what I'm doing. You can do a little bit of research on it on your own, okay? That's kind of how I see this cycle playing out. One more thing, if I pull this out to October, this regular fib out to October, we can kind of start to see where the highs may come in this summer. All right, I'll pull this all the way back out to that final line around October, November, which is right around in here, October, November. That's where my cursor is right now. I'm going to pull down to the bottom. October, November ends me off right there. I see that we have quite a lot of space right in here before we touch that trend line. I don't know that happens for sure. I'm still waiting to see exactly how high we get here. But I think there's a solid possibility we get to 32,000, 33,000. I've said 34 because I think that's a realistic number. There's a possibility we get all the way up here to 39 or 40. I want you to understand I don't know that's going to happen. I'm more solid on the 32 to 33 area, 34. That 39 to 40,000 area seems a little bit high for me. That being said, it could happen. I'll readjust this as we need. As that comes along, I'll be able to tell you more closely. All right. Just showing you the data that I have for now. I think it's important to just see the data we have and not be too hopium, not guess too much, and just call it straight. All right. Just the way I see it for now. That's all the cycle stuff I wanted to show you. Showing you the daily, showing you kind of what I think. That's what I got. It was a lot of information, and I know that, and I haven't really answered any questions, and I'm sorry. However, it was important data in my opinion. All right. You're not going to see a lot of people come on YouTube and talk about this stuff. That's the difference in what we do versus what everyone else does. You're going to get straight hard data here, and I don't have any time for BS. I really don't. All right. There's plenty of room for that in the space, but not here. All right. We can't be what everyone else is. All right. So let me answer some questions and we'll get into the rest of this. I want to get what you guys have. I'm going to roll back through the messages here and find anything you want to look at. I want to go through my list of coins. Maybe it's on your list as well. And we'll look through them all. But first, if you haven't done so, please do me a solid. Right here is our Assassin's link. Launchpass.com / the 786 assassins / half off. $8 a month gets you all this information in real time. We do this 24/7. If you've ever wondered, how can I learn this? Who shows us? Who talks about this? That's us. 24/7, nonstop, 365 days a year. We are talking about TA. We're talking about charts. We're talking about trend lines. We're talking about how much it could go up. We're talking about total market cap, stocks, bonds, equities, forex. Got friends who do forex, want to learn how to do forex, want to learn how to trade foreign exchange pairs with extremely high leverage and be a degenerate? Got you. We can help you out with that for a whopping $8 a month. It's not going to be $8 a month much longer. All right. It will go up soon. Get in there while you can. Get it cheap while you can. Don't say I didn't warn you. All right. Now, let's get into what else you guys want to look at. All right. Let's see. Reactive with that. I know, right? It is what it is, though. They are, she said, reactive. Oh, Spock, you're welcome, dude. That's Spartan Bitcoin mining. Yeah. Talked to Greg just 2 days ago. He's been trying to get a hold of other influencers to talk to people. People keep slamming the door in his face and stuff. Everyone thinks everything's a scam. I get it. I had the door slammed in my face by a certain few influencers, and I don't associate with them anymore. So I'm trying my best to bring this space together, and we'll talk about that a little bit more at the end of the stream. Sir Sigma, what's up, brother? I mentioned we do some stock market stuff. That's one of the guys right there. All right, wake up, people. We have all that stuff in our Discord. All right. What's up, Danny Deep Pockets? Good to see you, bro. Eric Dream Logic says, dude, I'm color sensitive. I'm trying to see green, but it always ends up red. It's all good. Did I get I'm not going to say that. I would have used a Sharpie with that hairline. I know, right? I just used the 2 guard on a fancy clipper that I bought. Ron Wilson, what's up? Good to see you, brother. How the hell did you get it in green? He says, Techno God. That's awesome, dude. Good to see you. Little Janky Keith with the stealth haircut makes him more aerodynamic when he fight. People see that's a joke. Little Janky. Darth likes to make fun of me and call me Chuck Liddell's doppelganger. Whatever, dude. Oh Lord, I know, right? 454 messages. Cycling Cotton, good to see you. Nurse needs 10,000 cc's of whiskey stat. 100%, bro. Manolo, what's up, brother? John Doe says TNA. We'll look at TNA. I think that's probably a DJing coin, isn't it? That's all good, Ron. Good to see you, bro. All right, so I'm going to go through my list real quick, and we'll just kind of look over everything I've got. Let's jump into let's do TNA first, right? We'll do TNA. Is that on Deck Screener? I'm going to assume. Maybe not. Maybe it's over here. Is this what you're talking about? I'm not sure which one you're talking about. You might be making a joke, and that's fine. I'll go to Ethereum first. I'll let you explain. All right. Ethereum looks a little bit better and a little bit different at the same time. You have this lower high forming right here. All right. I'm a little perplexed on this lower high. I like how it shot up here and hit 2,000 and immediately bounced. I was kind of expecting that. What I wanted to see, though, was this thing create another high and get moving, and it's just kind of idling right here, forming a bit of a flag. And right there's the flag I'm discussing. Right? See that? Kind of forming a flag, thinking about it. If we pull up some simple indicators real quick, it's fighting the 821 EMA back and forth. If we look at the pivots, under the pivot, a little bit worse off than Bitcoin. The thing is, it moved farther along than Bitcoin chart-wise, and just, percent-wise, it's kind of stuck now. Ichimoku cloud real quick, not a terrible looking Ichimoku cloud, but I like to see better. Ethereum, I like 2,000 to 2,200 one more again. Give it another run here. Not sure how much farther can go past that. Now, I expect this to do really well in the bull market, though. I think until June, we likely get some more sideways and up, maybe even July. There's evidence to state that we could go past that more toward August. I don't know for sure yet. We'll know more as we go along. I don't want to be too bombastic and think that it's going to go too far and get the hopium going. Trying to be as accurate at this stuff as we can. Okay. I don't want to take it too far. Right. I believe we did a little bit of that last bull run. We took things too far sometimes, and I got to taper that a little bit. I want to make sure people don't get in over their head with this. That's my Ethereum look. I think it's still positive for the time being, okay? You got a lot of support underneath the price, right? So I think more up and sideways is in the works. Binance Coin, man, it looked good the other day, and then immediately stopped looking good and started playing around with this trend line, and it's still holding it, still forming a flag. However, it looks a little bit different than Bitcoin and Ethereum, doesn't it? Under the 821 EMA, not quite as good. Fighting around with the 50 EMA, which I don't have on the screen. Under the pivot, same way. I need to see some of these get back up and get over where they were, right? They're playing around with fire right here, and I'm not sure if I like that. Still over the cloud, so it's all right as far as that goes. If you want a little bit more of a lagging indicator that slowly goes about, well, the Ichimoku cloud's great for that. As long as the price is over the cloud and you don't got 4 red check marks, you can kind of stay in here. Bollinger Bands, sideways but tightening. We got to wait on it. Got to wait on it. I'm still in it. I'm still in this Binance coin here. I don't want to freak out and jump out when I don't need to. I think it's imperative that we be more calm than most people. Baby steps. Let's see if it can improve. If it can't, I'll stagger out. I'll start pulling some out if necessary. AVAX. I still got my position on this one. We've got a flag forming on this one as well. So more of a wedge right here, kind of like that. See that? Need to see that break north. It looks like it wants to. It's just taking its sweet time. 821 EMA under that, but you're over the 200. As long as you're over the 200, that's more bullish than bearish. If it flips back down under this 200, well, that's opposite of that. That's obviously more bearish than bullish. Under the pivot, but right near S1, which is our first support pivot, which just so happens to be around the 200, kind of shows like it wants to go down there and tag that. I'm okay with that. I won't freak out. I'll kind of stay on my spot here. Matic, a little bit worse off than the others. This thing took a really dramatic fall from where it was and hasn't recovered since. That being said, it did way better. Let me write down AVAX. I forgot. I'm sorry. That was 32.15, and now we're doing Matic. I got to write it down for the timestamps. All right, so it had a dramatic fall, hasn't recovered back as much as well as others. Still getting pinned down by this red trend line that's kind of been forming since February. This one got a lot of hype. Everyone was super into it because it went up so far so fast, and now it's started to pull back on the reins. This and several other charts that look similar to this one have started to pull back on those reins. It's got more ground to make up, all right, and it needs to get moving and get going and doing its thing here. Looking at the RSI, it's just down and sideways, playing tiddlywinks over here, not doing much. I haven't added back to this one. I need to see a little bit more improvement. ADA. All right. Similar to AVAX, same kind of situation. Did bounce the 236 fib. That was nice. And failed it. So we kind of saw that coming. Under the 821, I believe this has some more support with different moving averages. Yes, trying to bounce back off the 50 moving average now. That yellow line right there. It's trying to catch it and hold it. Not the easiest time in the world it's having with that, but if it can get back over, that's more bullish than bearish. And potentially, we can break this downside that I see right here. Right? We don't do very complicated things on here because that's not necessary. We got downward pressure right there. I need that to break. Once that breaks, that's less risky. Right now, it's, what's the opposite of that? More risky. So I want to taper my risk back here and not do anything too cute. I don't think it's necessary. Some of these situations like this where it's just not ready and it's not worth the risk. And yes, you may be buying a lower bottom, but for what risk? A lot. So, be careful with your risk. Risk management is crucial. I don't want anyone to get in over their head and thinking that they got to buy something just because. That's not wise at all. I think that's a terrible idea. I think you should be very careful about this stuff. I got you. Thank you, Jeremy Monroe. So I've got Trias, TRX, DAG. You like DAGs? DAGs. What else we got? Isham, good to see you, bro. Frog with a hat. What's up, my friend? Let's see. Audio. Cuzzo, did you get stopped out? just say yes or no in the chat there. I'm just wondering. I thought about doing it with you there, but I didn't. I went with the Bitcoin one instead, and it hit me 99%. I was wanting to hit that 100 mark, but my take profit was at 99% for whatever reason. And I got 99%, so I'm not going to complain about it, but still. Yeah, I wished I had that 100. That would have been cool. All right, Trias. All right. Ugh, that's a really, 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 really ugly red candle right there. You see that? That is the definition of gnarly looking. I need to see this break all of this before I do anything with Trias. I know it's at support. I get it. But, dude, that's a really ugly red candle. That thing is horrible looking. So, for that reason, I would pump the brakes on this joker. Do what you want. But for me, I'm not a financial advisor. It's not financial advice. But, damn. That one looks bad. I'm not going to get involved with this one. I'm going to stay pat. TRX. I've got that on the list over here, I do believe, and there it is. All right, look at this heifer just running on down the road. Remember what I described with Bitcoin earlier? This is what TRX is already doing. It rode up, broke the trend, bounced around, hit that V between two different trend lines right there beautifully. And since then, it's done nothing but rode up. This is exactly what I want to see every asset do. I want to see it break its little short-term downtrend. I want to see it jog up and ride the longer-term uptrend and get back up here to its upper levels where I think it will go in time here. As a matter of fact, I've already got that level marked out for you. It's possible that we go up to 7.5 cents on TRX, and I don't want to count my chickens too early here. But there's a possibility that happens. Man, TRX got really, really gnarly wiki, and I'm not even going to fall for these. I'm not even going to measure those. I'm going to go up here to these and say that, you know, it's likely we stop at around 7 cents first before we get up to 7.5. 701, I'm sorry, 070 to 071 looks like a ripe target. I think that's in the works. RSI is not oversold yet. I mean, overbought. So you got room here. It's got room to keep going. Pivots, yeah, R3's at 072. So yeah, somewhere around in there. It might fall short for now and maybe have to take a breath and maybe one more run up. But yeah, TRX looks good for the moment compared to most. DAG, you like DAGs? DAGs? All right. So we've been talking about this one for a while. Why have we been talking about DAG for a while? Well, this chart had underperformed as compared to most. And what do I mean by underperforming? Well, while most were up 50, 100, 200%, 30%, anything, DAG has kind of went sideways and down. We had multiple assets that acted like this. Well, this one's been a prominent one. It's got a big cult following, right? So it hasn't done much. Been watching this very closely. I had bought, sold, bought some more, sold some more, right? Back and forth. I've got 250,000 DAG tokens at least now. Probably have a little more than that, but that's $8,000 worth. Why did I buy this where I bought it? Well, as you see, that yellow box right here is a supply zone. And I'm going to pull up this big chart so you can see this. This is the full history of DAG. It's not on TradingView. The whole chart is not on TradingView. It only goes back to around over here. All right. So all the way back to 2018 is when this actually dropped, in the summer of 2018, which is a horrible time to launch anything in a bear market. You never want to launch things in a bear market. You always want to launch them in a crab or an up market. All right. You're just going to get more money in that way. So this thing went way down, trended down with the entire market, then rebounded very rapidly. All right. Very rapidly. In fact, I would like to see that same rapid replacement of price action here. Just haven't gotten that yet. So anytime I see this price dip down in this value zone here, I'm going to take a chance. And that's exactly what happened right over here. This happened in 2021, worth a chance there. This happened now, worth a chance here. All right. Also, that's the 618 fib from the bottom to the top, right up there from the bottom to the top. The 618 fib was just so happened to be in this value zone. I now have a point of interest and a target. I was hoping to see a bullish engulfing here. And sure enough, on the weekly, we're getting that happening right now. Now, this move is going to take a bit of time to play out. I don't expect this to hurry up and go. I expect this takes some time. There is some resistance now that it's formed just because this has such a hard time. All right, so it may chop, it may bounce back and forth. It may not just hurry up and go back up like you want. I think the next hard level for this thing to break is where the price is now plus 0.052, 0.053. Somewhere around in there is going to be a hard level to crack. It's not just going to easily push through that. I think it might have a hard time. We'll give it some time to do its thing, one step at a time. It finally showing some strength, which I'm happy about. Now, on the daily time frame, yesterday you had an 11% candle. All right. I know it feels good out there, Chads. I know it feels good, but I need you to taper those feelings because they will only ever cost you money. Everything has to go up and down together. If you just look back in the history of DAG, there are not many green candles in a row ever. So expect that to stop. You blew through the 8 EMA here, finally, which is actually a good thing. You blew through the 8 EMA, and now you have a big red reversal candle right here. And that's all right because this thing is pretty low volume, and that's going to happen. It's bouncing off the 21 EMA right now and off this short-term red trend line. I shared this over in the Discord about 8:15 or 8:20 today, p.m. Eastern time. And I said, this thing doesn't look, I bet this don't hold this level, right? Right up here at this red line at this 21 EMA is where it was. And since then, it's gone minus 4.5%. It was actually green at that point. You can kind of see this coming. It's going to take some time to chop its way out here. It's going to just all go up at once. In fact, it could just go sideways, which is still better than down. Don't get me wrong. So I'm not exactly sure that's the answer, that it's going to go sideways. I think we do get some up here soon. And I'd like to see it test this yellow trend line. Testing that yellow trend line will put us in there in the category of rebounding. Right, but not yet. One step at a time. We have to wait on these to play out. It's not going to hurry up and do anything. I want to give it some time to breathe and time to do its thing. All right, one step at a time, one level at a time. Everything will go the way it's supposed to go. All this buy pressure on the bottom down here is good. And what I mean by buy pressure, that's candles with long wicks on the bottom. And that's exactly what you got 4 days in a row. Good buy pressure. Good. That's the buyers refusing to give up at this level, which is good. Now that it's done that and it started to move off the bottom, now we're going to ride this short-term uptrend right here. See this? I want to see this short-term uptrend maintain. Let's see how long it can go. All right. This is my next goal for this coin. Continue to ride this green line. As long as this thing rides this green line, I'm happy about it, and I'll stay around with it for the ride. If it fails it, well, I'm going to scale out some. All right, that's all there is to it. I'm already in the profits here. No complaining from me. All right, that's my look on the DAG. Audio will be next, and that's going to be at roughly 44 minutes. Let's see some questions. Can we take a look at BNB BTC? Sure, you're talking about a dominance chart. Which one's being stronger than the other? You did get stopped out. Okay, that sucks. You think it looks bad. You haven't seen my high school photo. You're stupid, dude. Mitch says Morpheus Network. Sure, we can do that. Good to see you, Mitch. Glad to have you on here. You talk about dad because you're like kicking puppies. You're stupid, dude. That's pretty good. So I know it's a meme token, but about Pepe. Yeah, we can look at Pepe. I don't care. I'll look at any chart, right? I just don't want to hear about tokenomics and all that shit. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care about any of that. I just want to see the chart. So let's do BNB BTC first. Let's see which one's being stronger. I never trade strictly based on this. All right. I only ever look at this to see which one's outperforming the other. This is most useful when you're in a bull market. And the reason I say that is when you're in a bull market, you want to see which one you should be in the most. Should I be in Bitcoin or Ethereum more heavily? Why? Because one may be doing better than the other. While they're both going up, one may be stronger than the other. All right. What we see on BNB BTC right here, this thing just getting absolutely sledgehammered by Bitcoin overall. Now, is it trying to find some room to reverse here? It's trying, but it hasn't done it yet. And I have this green box marked right here as support and Fibonacci levels. So I'd like to see this thing move up off of this. I'll pull a fib on it right here, and we'll see that about June or so is this thing's what it's got before Bitcoin pulls back on the reins and slows everything down again. It could outperform Bitcoin, but it hasn't tried yet. In fact, it's stuck under that downward pressure, and until it breaks that downward pressure, I'm going to anticipate more. I'm going to anticipate more of it. I don't think that's just going to stop. I think it's liable to keep going down and sideways. Morpheus network. All right, Morpheus. All right, I drew this how long ago? Still doing it. It's pretty cool to watch. So it's in between support and resistance right now, ranging back and forth. You can see the arrow. I'm gonna take that off. I do see a bit of a wedge forming right here, which is cool. All right, you see this wedge? I want to see that crack. Let me erase this other crap. It's a bit of a head and shoulders too. That's what I had drawn out. I want to see it crack this wedge. If it cracks this wedge, I think it's possible to retest 242 again. Retesting 242 and breaking 242 opens up this level higher. If it cannot get to this higher level, and this is it, that's fine. I expect this level to be found back again in October or November. That's if we do not crack 240 or 242, 245, somewhere around there. If we don't crack that 250, then we're right back down here to October again. If we can get up here toward $4, we might not ever see 250 again. I can't be for sure on that, but I'm just giving you what the chart shows. And you can see here I kind of had a head and shoulders drawn out. See that? Shoulder, head, shoulder. You got a clearly defined neckline right in here somewhere. All right, fair enough. Right, just hasn't quite cracked it yet. Let's give it a little bit of time to play out. Like I said, everything's got till June or July. And I could also hear the argument for something lasting out a little bit longer than that if it wants to go toward August. I think we have a red fall and a red winter, though. I really do. So I want to plan accordingly for that. And I want to make sure I get out with profits before all the degens jump in and get ruined, because it always happens, right? You always have 9 or 10 hodlers to every one buyer and seller, right? So I want to be one of the buyer and sellers. I don't want to be one of the 9 or 10 hodlers. I'm never going to hold the bag for anybody. I don't say never. I never intend to hold the bag for anyone. How about that? That's probably the correct thing to say. Let's look for Pepe. I've already got the chart drawn out on this. It was parabolic, and I believe this recently switched. Let me get something to drink here. Oh, yeah, there we go. So now that we got more uptrend here, not quite as parabolic, more just uptrend riding. I'm down on a 1 hour chart right here, so you can see. Let me go to a 4 hour. Same difference, though. It doesn't matter. Still riding the uptrend. Now that we got another touch, it's more defined. We have a more aggressive uptrend going right here. I know fibs show this thing slowing down, but it's been topped out on every indicator for a while. My advice would be, if you're in this and you think it's going to keep going up, great. I would say it's never a bad day to take profits. Never in history has there been a bad day to take profits. All right, profits are profits, and they're more than you had, so never complain about them. If this starts failing trend lines, that's when I would start scaling out. It did the same thing back here. It was very aggressive with this trend line. You see that? You could scale out here, rebuy a little lower when it breaks. You reduce risk. Maybe you didn't make anything extra, but you reduce risk. And when it comes to an absolute shitter like this that has no use, no real purpose, it's just a meme joke. When you have something like this, you have to de-risk along the way. If you do not, you will get rickrolled. All right? It's historically noted that this red candle right here is from one person selling a whole bunch at one time. What do you think he thinks about the price being as high as it is now? Imagine if everybody just used the chart. He would still be in this, and it would be higher, likely. But that's what happens when you don't use a chart. I'm not going to fault them for taking profits because they did very, very well. However, could have had a whole lot more. And I know it's a BS crap thing here. That doesn't matter to me. There's money to be made. There's money to be made. And I want everyone to get in there and make as much money as possible. All right. Fetch. Got you, Benjamin. Good to see you on here. That was Pepe, and that was 49.30. All right. Let's pull up Fetch. We've been talking about Fetch since 2019. Would you believe that? That was back in the Alboy days. Whom I would, all right, this is on YouTube, so whatever. If you would, someone who has connections with Mr. Level Up, please get a hold of him for me if you could and let him know I would like to talk to him man to man and squash anything. I want to squash all this and I want the space to come together. I'm really, really tired of the division. I don't like all that. We'll get into that in a little bit, right? But I want to show you something from 2020. I made this tweet on 2020. Fetch, free price target for you. Buy, sell, do whatever you want, think you should, get paid either way. And I shared this, said this would be coming down to the green box, and it did. It came back down to the green box and bounced back up and made a 1,600% run from this tweet. 1,600%. You probably didn't even know about this shit. But back in October 2020, we talked about it, all right? I like the cool feature that TradingView added where you can tag tweets on here and just call people out. Sometimes I'm wrong, and I don't mind being called out when I'm wrong, okay? But, you know, it's there for seeing. Fetch had a great run this January and February, but has since slowed down hardcore, and it's having a hard time from here. If you look at a weekly chart, it's still cooking pretty high on the RSI. I need to see this downward pressure crack. I got a trend line drawn right here. Once that downward pressure cracks, we can talk. Till then, I think it's probably best to park this bus underneath the shed and wait on it. That's for me. You know, you guys can do what you want. I don't see anything too much here that screams, oh my God, I got to buy it. All right. And I know it could be back at support. I get it. Right. But there are other coins who have done far less with less risk. All right. This one's pretty high risk, in my opinion. That doesn't mean that it won't do the complete opposite of what I'm saying. I have no problem with it doing the complete opposite of what I'm saying. I don't mind that at all. Level Up. Mr. Level Up. His name is Chris. He's from Hollywood, Florida. Can we look at Luxo? He has a paid group. It's exclusive, right? He doesn't let many people in it. And I've kind of been excluded. And I don't necessarily want his paid group or anything like that. It's not like that. I just want to talk to him and mend fences, man. I want fences mended. This is hyped up really big on Facebook. There's this Chinese, I don't even think it's a real Chinese person, but it's a Chinese looking person with a Chinese name on Facebook that constantly posts about this and how much their price predictions are perfectly accurate. Yeah, where were they at? Way back here. They weren't, all right? It always happens that people jump on board and think that they know everything. But Luxo has done great. LXY here, it's done really good. It's got this big upward channel that it's still riding. Let me write this down. LXYE. And this is around 53.30. Big channel right here. Let me draw this a little neater for you guys. It's the parallel channel tool. It's right over here in the tools indicators. Right, so you've broken the bottom of this channel and immediately kicked the midline. Let me show you that right there. You can kind of see how it plays back and forth on this channel. Kind of bounced around this midline a little bit, cracked it, jumped up and touched the top of the channel, and now it's kind of jogging sideways. It's still trending up. As long as it's trending up, I wouldn't too much panic here. If I see this trend fail, that's where I would probably cut bait and bail. But as long as it's going up, it's all right. As soon as I see it fall over, that's where I'm expecting it to come back to this midline or the bottom of the channel. We have empirical evidence to show that's probably what's going to happen. Don't get caught with your pants down. Let's see. What's up, Corey? Good to see you. Life's so unfair. I totally agree. Let's see. Yo! The Queen, Miss Phoebe, good to see you, ma'am. She's been a busy woman. Life comes first, all right? So don't ever think that you need to apologize to me about life coming first. Please do your thing. Don't ever get pressured and think you got to answer to me. I'm not cool with that. So glad to see you. It's super awesome. Miss Phoebe has been a text mark example of what can happen, all right? She took some private classes. It clicked with her. She went farther and farther and farther. And now she could share a chart and say, man, check this out. I think this looks good. And I'll get a DM with a chart. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty good, right? She's sharing stuff to me that I didn't even see, which is excellent. I don't ever expect anyone to be a pro trader or be a perfect trader, but I love seeing people come along and get better and do their thing. Now, we got a couple minutes left. Let me talk at you. So, I've recently embarked on a mission, right? What has been the recent mission? I want to unite our space together more. It breaks me how many walls are up in our communities, right? Between us influencers, everybody wants everybody to only look at one person. I don't like that, all right? I've recently reached out to a lot of different influencers, and I'm going to offer promotions for our Discord through those said influencers, okay? I've already got a few on board. In fact, some that you may not expect, all right? I've already talked to them. We had good conversations, and nothing's finalized just yet, but I've already talked to some. Chamda's one of them that I've got on here, right? Thank you, by the way, Chamda. I want to bring the space together. I want to get as many people in our Discord as I possibly can. We're going to run a special through those influencers that'll have a 2-month special, all right? Then it'll be $10 a month after that. It's more than $8, yes, but you get 2 months for free, so right? But it'll be through those influencers, one step at a time, though, and we're going to have different specials for different influencers, all right? I want to bring this space together. Even if you don't like technical analysis, you can come in, learn, listen, get it together, and make better decisions than you had before. I don't ever want anybody to be a pro trader. I don't ever want anybody to sit around and spend all day long at a desk trading back and forth. It's just not for most people, and I understand that. I want you to make more informed decisions, though. I want you to have data that helps you make an informed decision, not I think this might happen or, oh man, if this happens and I guess this might happen. We can do so much better than that, okay? That's the service that we provide, right? That's what our Discord provides. Better answers, better quality data, and more money. You can make more using what we've got. We know the cycles of crypto, and almost everything in the crypto space follows that. So I want everyone to buy the bottom, and I want everyone to be prepared to sell at the top. So many people got left behind in 2022. I don't want that to happen again. All right. I don't want that to happen again. I want everybody to be ready to pull that plug and get out when it's time. All right. So I'll be running this special soon through multiple different influencers. I want to bring this space together. They're all going to be in our Discord as well to come and talk. We're going to be running really cool things like Assassin Stage where they can come in and talk about what they've got going on, different projects. We're going to bring in project heads. We're going to bring in fundamental people, all kind of cool stuff, okay? I want to be the one-stop shop. I want our Discord to be the one-stop shop where everybody can come and get everything they need with no BS, all right? It's not going to be easy, but I think we can get there. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate every single person being on here. You guys are kick-ass. We got a Zoom after this for all the subscribers. I'm going to go get some tranny beers out of the refrigerator in the garage. I got a beer fridge out there. I didn't have a chance to go grab them yet. Thank you for coming. I'll be back next Thursday. We'll have videos on Tuesday or so like we normally do. We'll have our Monday morning roundup like we normally do over in the Discord. Come check it out. We talk about assets before the week gets started. Thank you all. I'll leave you with the last 2 things. I say thank you a lot, don't I? Because I really am thankful. Make the best of your days. Make your best of today's the worst of your tomorrows. That's Jay-Z who said that. And you could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to come here and hang out with me. You'll never understand how much I appreciate that. Thank you all. See you guys on the next live stream. Be good. Sky's the limit. Peace.